Hi everyone, welcome to Perceptions of Injustice. This is part 3 of analyzing Donna Adelson's emails to Wendi Adelson. Thank you, Judy, the YouTube lawyer, for allowing me to use these videos that you have on YouTube to comment and to dissect them.
Subject is forward Wendi, please read this. Message is sent from my iPad, a forwarded message from the same account that they have, dated on June 26, 2013, 9:08 p.m. Subject, Wendi, please read this. Dear Wendi, since neither one of us feels up to talking, let me share with you what we're all feeling as far as your response. When I wrote to you this morning, we felt that you had reasonable thoughts as to what the judge might do or say or think regarding the charade we had hoped you would participate in. However, the more we think about that, we begin to realize that you and we have no idea what this judge will do or say or think. Who would have thought after paying an attorney $600 per hour for 10 months, she would take an hour and a half of testimony, not even bother calling gibbers to the stand, and decide that family support for very young children evidently means nothing, and a job that pays 10 times what your unsecured, untenured, and dependent upon state budget cuts job pays in Tallahassee will be just fine for your children. Does she care that after expenses you'll save next to nothing at the end of a year? Does she care that very little, if anything, will be put away for the children for their current and future education? Does she care that extracurricular activities, sports, trips, eating out in restaurants will always be a financial challenge for you to provide for the boys? Clearly, she did not take into consideration the future earning potential and benefit for your children. She didn't care that there's no backup support system when one of your preschoolers is sick. All she cared about was if the father hasn't been pulling out their toenails. You should give up any financial betterment for you and your children and raise them in a place that you agreed to go to, because Gibbers only had FSU as a job offer. Of course, as a graduate of FSU Law School and a native of Tallahassee, she sees nothing wrong with living there. Obviously, as a native of South Florida, you know better.
Okay, so now she's degrading Wendy's lawyer, that the lawyer did not comprehend how important is it for Wendi to move to Miami. You, Wendi, come from Miami and she comes from Tallahassee, which is, she wouldn't understand what is it like to be living in Miami, you know? So Donna thinks that if she pays the lawyer $600 an hour, she can guarantee for her a judgment that she will like. Breaking news, Donna. Some things in life cannot be bought by money. One of these things are the fair judgment. You did not like it. It wasn't fair for you, for your own needs, but it was fair socially. Logically, no court, no judge would give Wendi and the boys a judgment to relocate to Miami. It's not logical. It's not fair for the family unit. You are over here scratching your mind, and after all of this brainstorming that you are having and this chaos in your mind, trying to figure out some reasons to convince the judge for her to relocate, it did not work because the reasons that you made up are not as important as the family unit and the mental health of the kids.
Our point is, it's obvious that you and Kristen haven't figured out the judge so far. You were both shocked at the rapid decision based on nothing that was presented. So how do you think at this point you can figure out what the judge will say regarding your decision to introduce Christianity into the boys' lives? People go to prison and change their religion all the time. People go through difficult times and find Jesus. Jesus was Jewish. He had positive teachings. He gives people hope. And best of all, you get to go to heaven in the end. Sounds good to me! ! Obviously, it will sound good to Judge Hobbs. She goes to church, donations from her church pastors and ministers on her financial contributions website. She's a Southern black lady. How do you know it won't be music to her ears to hear this.
A thief would see or would think that everyone else is also a thief. Donna thinks that everyone in this life thinks the same way that she conducts her mind. Donna doesn't really believe in systems and regulations and rules. She believes that if you want something, you can have it. She just cannot accept that there are things in life that has regulations and rules that you cannot mess up with. The judgment that she cannot relocate to Miami is for a reason. It's for keeping the family in one place. Even though the parents are divorced, the family should be in one place. So now she is trying to bribe the judge, and not bribe her with money, but bribe her with religious ideas. So she thinks that just because the judge is a fond of church and love Jesus, she's gonna make a judgment based on her love for Christianity and not take in consideration what the law says and separate the family.
Let's get ethical. Some possible options on Judge Hobbs' decision regarding Jewish holidays with the boys. As far as losing the children on the Jewish holidays, there are a couple of alternatives to this. First of all, it may happen, but unlikely. He is entitled to half the holidays and alternating those holidays each year with you. You may be interested in the teachings of Jesus, because Gibbers has certainly ruined Judaism for you in the extreme way he practices it. However, if the judge questions how much of the Jewish holidays you can have, you explain that your parents and brother are Jewish, and they will be coming to Tallahassee to spend those holidays, parentheses, or the half that you're entitled to, end parentheses, or perhaps even the 60% that you're entitled to with the boys. Secondly, so what if by some crazy stance the judge says, quote, okay, Gibbers can have all the Jewish holidays, end quote. Then, if our bribe doesn't work, you tell him during the year that you'll take the kids out of Sunday school at church and cancel their upcoming baptism if he shares those dates with you. If not, keep them there. Third, since there is a separation of church and state, she'll just go by whatever schedule you are given and tell you to work out any holiday arrangements between yourselves. Who declares which are, quote, legitimate holidays and which aren't? This I don't understand. Shmini Azeret? Okay, does anyone know what that means? Okay, obviously the court isn't out to help you. It's clear since Judge Hobbs' last ruling that she could care less about anything you had to say in your behalf. You need to help yourself. You know, Wendi, most of the wars that have been fought for the last couple of thousands of years have been over religion. Charlie brought up a good point when he said that Americans were dropped behind enemy lines during World War II wearing Nazi uniforms to get what they wanted. They had a job to get done, and they did what they needed to do to accomplish it. You have a job to get done in a very short time frame to accomplish it. If you dressed your kids up in Hitler Youth uniforms and brought them down here, I could care less if it was an act of defiance and would show Gibbers that he's not in control. If your children are baptized, it doesn't make them Christian. Ben and Lincoln aren't really pirates because they dress up like Jake the pirate. It's an act. You got into this mess with Gibbers by being so compliant with non-confrontational and non-confrontational with him. If you just keep paying your attorney her $600 per hour and don't fight for what you want, you're no better off than if you stayed married to him. Sure, you got rid of being unhappy in a marriage, so you don't have to live under the same roof, but he'll still be, quote, in control of everything.
I, Donna, want to be in control of everything. Not Dan. He is still in control. Even though you got the divorce from him, even though the relationship that was not making you happy dissolved, but he is still in control because you are back there in Tallahassee and I need you here. I need to be in control and not Dan Markel. In my personal opinion, these emails tells us everything we need to know about this case. It tells us exactly the dynamic between Donna and Wendi, even though we don't have the emails back from Wendi, the replies from Wendi. So now Donna is disciplining Wendi for getting this ruling from the judge. She started by slamming the lawyer and then continued to slam the judge. And now it's Wendy's turn to get whipped. To get whipped for the judgment that Donna did not like. So it's like Donna is shaming Wendi for not working enough for what she wants, for not fighting enough. She's very comfortable in saying that this is a war and you should fight more. You were not compliant with my orders to you, with my instructions to you. That's why this happened. I told you to study. I told you to cheat in this exam so you can pass. But you did not listen to me. That's why you failed. Bravo. Good for you now, Wendi. Everything's happening is just because Donna wants her hands back on Wendi. Believe that she was in control of Wendi so much up until she got married, and now she got married and Dan is in control of everything. She does not like it. She keeps on convincing her, brainwashing her to divorce. She did divorce. Okay, one step, we're done from Wendy's mind. Now, next step, get her back to Miami, where she can really controls her.
Including what he wanted, sole control of the boys' religious lives. Why let him? Why not stand up to this fucker? Why not fight? We're not talking about a lifetime of this. You have the boys a very, very limited number of days before the mediation takes place. This is all part of an act. Please rethink this. We're all willing to help you to accomplish this, and that's all it is, Wendi, an act. An act of defiance that will put a scare into this jackass. It will infuriate him. It won't infuriate a judge that you found Jesus. She can't comment on your religious views. You need to see the big picture! Exclamation mark. You need to look into the future, what a life without your only family nearby, teaching in Tallahassee with Danny always in the picture, will give you. It's not a pretty picture. We want to see you help yourself. Not everything one has to do in life is comfortable or easy. Sometimes it's ridiculously hard. But Gibbers has tried to aggravate and screw you since day one of this divorce. Vicious emails, his defiance with Dr. Pam's directions on asking him not to come to the school every day when he doesn't have the boys, is not allowing you to pick the children up 1 hour earlier to drive to Atlanta, his bad-mouthing you to the faculty at the school you will be working at. Everything he does is done with malicious intent. Why can't you do this for a few days? For the few days that you have the boys prior to the mediation. You know him. You know which buttons to push. He certainly knows how to push your buttons. Take something from him. Right now, he's got everything just the way he wants. We need to take from him in order for him to, quote, negotiate it back. End quote. This is your chit. The extremism that Gibbers is already teaching the boys is nothing more than brainwashing. Religion is brainwashing. It's control of the masses. It affects who your friends are, what activities you do, how you eat, how you dress, how you pray, everything. There is no doubt you will have two little Orthodox young men on your hands, with the only religious influence over them being Gibbers. He's already got them thinking that people who eat shrimp are bad. Hot dogs are disgusting. Lobster is gross. Wait, Ben's not even 4 years old. Wait till he's 8. You're not teaching them anything different. You don't teach them that on Saturdays they can go to soccer or any regular organized sports activity or even swim lessons. You let them play in the park or in the house. Gibbers has an organized plan that he's been doing pretty much since they were born. Shul, shul, shul. Shul every Saturday morning that he has them. Shul for every Sunday that he has them. Shul for every holiday. Shul parties. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Shul, shul, shul. That will be their life. We don't want you to be the, quote, outsider, unquote, who doesn't join in what the, quote, rest of the family, unquote, is doing. Wendi, this is all about negotiating, exclamation mark. After consulting with 2 attorneys who are both excellent negotiators, one of whom we will most likely hire for the financial offer, we are getting the same advice. You must take something from him that he wants. When you intelligently negotiate in mediation, you, quote, pretend, unquote, you want the house even if you don't. You, quote, pretend.
So negotiation's definition for Donna apparently is cheating. That's not negotiating if you're cheating. Negotiation has rules and regulations that you have to follow. Otherwise, you're cheating. Otherwise, that's not negotiation then. And that's very bad to go in to the mediation with this mindset that I'm gonna cheat, I'm gonna manipulate, I'm gonna lie and get what I want, whatever it takes.
And you want the car even if you don't. You pretend you want the ring even if you don't care. You pretend you want the kids in Catholic school even if you don't. It's just a business of clever negotiation, underlined. It's not what you or we are familiar with, but people in business do it all the time. Both attorneys have said that this is how you get what you want. If you can't take anything from him, then what we do is just a financial offer. It's just not as good. And then look at it this way. What's the downside? Worst case scenario is the judge does give him the Jewish holiday.
So in her mind, being clever is getting what you want, even if it's not aligned with your own values and morals. It doesn't really matter as long as you're gonna get what you want. And that's actually what she taught her kids to be. That she taught her kids very well that being clever and being smart is getting what you want, whatever the price is. It doesn't really matter. And then she's talking like, act like it's business. Yeah, that's why it's separate. Yeah, that's why family issues and divorce and custody and all of this stuff has a different and separate court and different and separate regulations, rules, filings, papers, and it's very separate from the business court and the financial court and this type of stuff, because business is not family. You cannot treat your family issues and problems the same way that you treat your business issues and your business problems. It's not the same, and you cannot do it the same.
Then after a short period of time, you offer him taking the kids out of Catholic school, parentheses, Sunday school, end parentheses, if he shares the holidays, or have a stipulation that holidays need to be reviewed yearly. You have a smart lawyer. She knows that all kinds of stipulations and temporary arrangements can be made at a divorce. Wendi, you don't manipulate people. You're a sweet, kind, caring person. Jibbers is a manipulator. You just need to play a role. What you're doing is, quote, jockeying for position, unquote. In the end, if you do this and it doesn't get the results we're all hoping for, then you can't blame yourself. You can feel good that you did everything you could. I'm not saying that we're not going to continue with hiring an attorney to negotiate and make a financial offer. I don't think you realize the type of offer we're considering. We're planning on you, Charlie, and Dad and I going as high as equal parts in a $1 million offer. That's $333K from each of us. Obviously, the more chits on our side, the better our chances are that we won't have to go that high. You have to show us that you're doing your part in this too. We're a team. We can't do this without your help. One of the possibilities in lieu of that much money, parentheses, obviously we start much lower, end parentheses, is offering not just taking them out of church, but negotiating a settlement, which could possibly offer both boys private education at the Donna Hebrew Day School in Boca. It may include monthly airline tickets to South Florida for as long as he lives in Tallahassee. He may stop and think that if he can get a job in a city he'd prefer to live in, it would be an easy flight to see his children. He loves living in South Florida. Teaching at his current schedule and with a big chunk of money, he could live down here for the next 26 weeks per year that he teaches and fly 2 days a week to Tally. He would have frequent and liberal visitation. You're not looking to remove him from their lives. He needs to understand that. The negotiating lawyer will work with him. With his school teaching schedule, he could see his children here a significant amount of time. His child support would be much less also. The attorney who will be doing the negotiating will also lay it out on the line for him what the various payment offers will be worth to him in 15 to 18 years when he may want to retire. The amount is huge. This payoff can put him at that point, parentheses, without any additional income of his own, end parentheses, in the $4 million range. Certainly nothing he'd ever save in 10 lifetimes. Exclamation mark. Okay. You turned the page a little fast.
Everything can be bought by money. Everything, up to Donna.
Sorry, I'm trying to see what was the last sentence there. If you try this, you really will not be any worse off than if you do nothing. So what's preventing you from just trying? Okay, he's flipping the page. I don't know how much of the big picture you're seeing, honey. I don't know if you realize that not only what you can provide for your boy's life, but for your own life, all depends on this change. Aside from living in a far better city with family, a personal history there, and you'll also have greater opportunity to meet people for your future. I'm sure there are many lovely women who are teachers, divorced with 2 children. You can be a highly successful, highly compensated attorney who is independent and not, quote, in need of someone to marry you to help support your 2 children. You can have someone cleaning your home, a nanny to help with your children, a lifestyle in which you and your boys can travel. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to really turn your life around and make a positive difference in the lives of your children. Your expenses with the boys now are minimal. Wait until you see how expensive everything is in the future for them. We don't want you, and I wouldn't imagine you'll want to live paycheck to paycheck. Teenagers eat more than the yogurt these boys eat now. Everyone has a price. Now is the time to start! Exclamation mark. You said this divorce is not about winning and losing, that it's not a competition. You've already lost relocation according to the legal system. Well, it is about winning and losing. We're trying to get a win! Exclamation mark. You deserve it. You deserve so much more than a life without family, teaching in Tallahassee. Life is tough. Bold print. If you don't stand up and take a chance, you don't stand a chance. Okay, now it's not bold anymore. Please, Wendi, do your part and stand up to him. Make an effort to do this so that our, quote, group offer will stand a better chance at being accepted. Don't let his, quote, temporary, unquote, move to Tallahassee ruin your entire life. We all want the same thing. A better emotional and financial life for you and the boys, all the way around. You know, Grandma was one tough and very...
I cannot even imagine how Ruth Markel, then Markel's mom, feels if she heard these emails. I think she knows about these emails. Probably she heard them somewhere. So now she's kind of shaming Wendi for wanting peace, because apparently Wendi is not replying to her, or maybe she's replying that all she wants is peace moving on from now after the divorce and everything. And I cannot understand how a loving mother would keep on insisting for her daughter to keep on fighting when she really wants peace.
Smart lady. I think about her all the time. And I think about what advice this very intelligent woman, a wonderful, quote, reader of people, unquote, who loved you more than words could ever express, would say to you. She'd tell you to fight with every bone in your body, exclamation mark. Fight for yourself, your boys, and for the best possible life you can have. You know that's true, exclamation mark. Fight for yourself, Wendi! Exclamation mark. We'll be there to help you. Just don't tell us that what you need to do now is, quote, move forward with a sense of peace.
Why?
Unquote. That's giving up. I don't believe that's really what you want to do after all we've been through together. And when you're literally a few weeks from this being over, written with hope and love, Mom and Dad.
Sure, hope and love, seriously. Sometimes giving up is life-saving, you know. There's fight, flight, and freeze response. Freeze response is what you're calling giving up, sense of peace moving forward. You don't want her to have a sense of peace. You want her to fight with all she has, just so she can be next to you. Just so she can please you. We see that in animals all the time. Sometimes an animal would freeze when he sees that a predator is coming to him or whatever. They pretend they're dead So this is their freeze response, and this actually saves them from the predator coming to them. Same for people. Sometimes a freeze response is life-saving and mentally much better than fight. She wants her to fight and she doesn't want to fight. Okay, I'm gonna stop for now. Donna is not used to this type of conflicts. She's not too used to not getting her way, and now she cannot get her way because there's law about there's law, rules and regulations, and she cannot comprehend the idea of rules and regulations. She doesn't play with rules, she plays with her own rules that she puts for herself and other people, and that's it. These emails are kind of scary, to be honest, because it tells you so much. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please show it some love with liking it, subscribing to my channel, and possibly also commenting if you want to. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.